All right. Sorry for us being tardy. I mean, we're not sorry, but I mean, just to be fair, sorry y'all being tardy, but movers and shakers, we move and shake, and sometimes things take a little bit longer than what needs to be. But
Yes,
I'm
sir.
blessed. I want to give a shout to Darius because we have a mutual friend in common, Darius Robbins,
Hey, that's my
and
boy, man.
he was like, yo, wait, tell me the story how he you guys ran across me. Well, I knew him, he knew you, and then you realized that we all kind of
Yeah, it was kind of weird. I mean, I'm always kind of like just watching content, and I do want to say this, bro. Just starting off, I do want to give you your flowers, bro. Like to me, you like one of the realest niggas on YouTube, bro. So I've been watching your content for a minute, bro. And I knew Darius because we really was business partners because we got a crypto group where
right.
we teach people about crypto and how to make money. And we kind of just like realized that we both mutually knew you. And he was like, "Yo, bro, I'm gonna hit him up and see if I can get you on this channel." I was like, bro, that'd be super dope. So definitely big shout out to Darius, bro.
Yeah,
Super
yeah,
cool
yeah.
dude, man.
Yeah, he good people. I was just down there a few months back hanging out with him
Okay.
and stuff. So yeah, yeah, yeah. That's my guy. That's my guy. So well, first things first, please introduce yourself to the people. Um sing your praises, man. Toot your horn. This is it's all about you.
Oh yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, my name is Macabre 13. I'm an artist, influencer, entrepreneur, among other things. But I'm just somebody that decided to take life into my own hands and create my own reality. I recently just spoke at a conference in Miami in front of like 1,500 people with Billy Carson, 19 Keys, a lot of people. I really started off in the music industry as a producer. So it kind of seems like a lot of people start off in music and kind of venture out to other things, but always was very creative, always had my own mind, always been an independent thinker, and just trying to live life, man, and just stay out the way, really.
Well, 19 and Billy Carson, pretty much the bigger names of I don't know what how I want to call it, the spiritual movement or the occult movement. I don't know what
Yeah.
I don't know what I don't wouldn't I want to give it its proper term, but um this re-emergence of it because we had the hoteps,
Yeah.
they had their moment. Now it kind of died down a bit. Now it's just reawakening. And what do you attribute that to? How does that make you feel? Do you like the direction it's going in, things of that nature?
I mean, I feel like it's a gift and a curse.
Okay.
I mean, like we was kind of just talking about, like I really feel like there is like a certain level of awakening as far as with the internet and social media. It's so much information out there that a lot of people hear things or they may get like a slither of knowledge and it can really captivate them and make them want to learn more. Now, at the same time, I mean, it's a business at the end of the day, especially like when we start talking about conferences and events. So I look at it as like, it's good and bad with everything, bro. Like I feel like some people can kind of get lost in the sauce, so to speak. When it's like it's so much knowledge, bro. Like whether we talking about Egypt, Samaria, it's like you can really kind of just lose yourself in the information. So I feel like you kind of got to just have a certain knowledge of self first and foremost to even begin to understand a lot of this stuff. But yeah, man. I mean, I'm kind of like at a weird crossroads right now because I'm really thinking about how I can pivot, within the next few years to something different. Because just keeping it real, bro, I seen how a lot of like, conscious niggas ended up,
Hmm.
and it's like I'm not trying to go outside. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
like I don't know, bro. It's I think it's good to pursue knowledge and people to, awaken to certain truths, but it can also be dangerous. Like I got friends that literally like lost their mind because they kind of got too deep into, the metaphysical world to where
Okay.
they lost touch with reality and they couldn't balance and, become grounded in just, day-to-day life. So yeah, bro, everything is, good and bad, within it.
Does it seems like that is the ultimate path. You go down these rabbit holes and then you either lose it or you come up for air and you get away from it altogether. Same issues. I was like,
Yeah.
I can't keep doing this. It's taking its toll on my psyche.
Oh yeah.
And then the people are not ready or not receptive to the information. So off camera, we were saying in a nice way, the average person is stupid,
Oh yeah, no,
respectfully.
facts. I mean, like it sounds harsh, but it's like the average person in America reads on the sixth grade reading level. So it's like when we talking about knowledge, most people can't even comprehend or grasp the concepts that you're trying to even, teach to them. So it's kind of like even in the Bible, don't cast pearls before swine. It's like, it's good to try to awaken people, but I mean, sometimes you can do more harm than good, trying to help people. So it's definitely a lot of discernment you got to have. It's a lot of discipline, a lot of responsibility, and you kind of just got to know, like, because I mean, I know that with this influencer, all this social media hype, this shit don't last forever, bro. So I'm just looking at it like, how can I maximize it and just set myself up for later on in life instead of just trying to, like, be the next conscious community superstar. Like,
Right.
I don't really give a fuck about that for real.
Okay. Okay. Refreshing to hear. So let's take it back. Let's go to Wayback Machine. What led you on this path? Influences, events in childhood life, whatever the case may be. How did we get here?
Um, Man, that's really an interesting question. I feel like I was just always kind of weird. Like, I never really all the way fit in. Like, I wasn't a lame, but it's like deep within me, I kind of knew, like, bro, I'm not really like most of these niggas. I kind of always was into just intellectual things. I kind of always had like a knack just for like things that was like unconventional. So it's like I was the kid who kind of like liked rock music more than rap music. I kind of just never really followed the crowd. And I attribute a lot of like me kind of pursuing knowledge to one of my older cousins. Because he actually showed me FL Studio. And I tell people, bro, like, if I didn't get introduced to FL Studio, I would probably be either in prison or dead,
Mm.
just based upon like the influences around me. Like, it was a lot of negative influences, but me being able to kind of tap into creativity and through art, that kind of just allowed me to, like, distance myself from a lot of the bullshit. Cause I'm born and raised in Atlanta. So, I'm sure kind of the environment, just like, nigga shit, basically. So, just being able to have like an outlet to kind of like take my mind off of that, I just feel like it just led to, one thing led to another. And it's like, once you get the internet and you start researching more, you start reading certain books, you just kind of go down that rabbit hole. So, I kind of always was inquisitive and always kind of curious, just, on a practical level of life. And I just feel like over time it just, became more and more profound. But yeah, bro, like it's really just, I think just certain people are meant to, pursue knowledge. I feel like it has to be in you.
Okay.
Like, if you kind of want to know something, you'll kind of go to great lengths to find out. It's like a scientist or an inventor. It's like, it's just something within them that kind of pushes them towards that, just towards that reality. So I kind of feel like I was one of those type of people.
Well, let me ask you, why do you think with us particularly? Because I don't see white folk having these issues when it comes to their spiritual leaders or what I'm saying, their kind.
Yeah,
Is it because we've been starved for knowledge for so long and history's been rewritten so many times when it comes to us, and it's like any sliver of truth or knowledge, they just they're like piranha and they just can't get enough of it.
man. I mean, I think religion has, like, plays a big role in it.
Okay.
Just as far as like indoctrination and people kind of like almost being forced to think a certain type of way. So when you are kind of presented with something different, it's like, it's profound. It can really kind of change your whole reality and it can change your whole outlook on everything. So I think, like, when you kind of grow up in ignorance and you get exposed to certain things, it's a lot more potentially dangerous, I feel like. So I think it's just like, the upbringing, the environment. I think it's a lot of different factors. But ultimately, I just feel like we don't really understand just like how deep the mind control and conditioning really goes. I feel like it's like we talk about it, we research about it, but to actually live in that, it's really kind of crazy. And then when you like come out of that and you get exposed to consciousness, I mean, at this point, bro, like, I even tell people, like, man, bro, just get money, bro. Just, like, because it's like, bro, like, you're gonna drive yourself crazy trying to
Yeah.
just figure out, like, oh, what are the Rothschilds doing? Like, what are these groups like, bro? It's certain things that's just not meant for you to just really understand, bro. And it's like, that's cool. But yeah, man, I just think we kind of have like a desperation. It's almost like how a lot of niggas try to act super tough all the time. It's because, like, on the subconscious level, like, when you don't have power, you want it so bad that you'll kind of just like do anything to get it. Like, you'll go to extreme lengths to kind of flex any type of irrelevant power that you have. So I think it's the same way when it comes to information.
Let me ask, you're one of the few like born and bred AT aliens I've come across. And I used to live
Yeah.
there. I used to live in Atlanta, Decatur, Sandy Springs more than
Okay,
anything
shout
else.
out to Sandy Springs.
But you're one of the few people, besides my daughter's mother, like a handful of like actual AT from the soil.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, spiritually, how has it changed in your eyes? Because I've said this years ago, it's like I tell people, hey man, if you ain't never been down there, maybe it's just not for you. Not even just on some economic, financial setup or whatever, but it's just spiritually, Atlanta is something is not right. And I don't want to be disrespectful because that's your home turf, but
Nah, you speaking, bro. That's facts. I feel the same way. Like, bro, this shit might sound kind of crazy, but just kind of like growing up in the 90s, like, bro, like the atmosphere was different. Like, even the colors was different. Like, I just feel like now it's almost like so much people come here kind
okay,
of like trying to bring a certain level of like thirst or like trying to like make it. And you got the whole rap thing in Hollywood. I just kind of feel like it just kind of got corrupted and like people tried too hard to make it like, almost like some New York type shit. And I even tell people too, bro, like, the gentrification is getting crazy too.
okay.
Like, even like on the west side, like, what a lot of niggas claim it's like the hood. I mean, bro, 5 to 10 years from now, bro, like niggas is gonna be living in Macon. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not a joke. See, I just think it's a lot of factors, bro. I mean, it is a lot of money here, it is a lot of opportunity, but at the same time, that kind of like brings out the vultures and the snakes, and it kind of brings a certain, like just desperate energy. I feel like a lot of niggas here now, bro. It's like niggas like just want to be future, like they want to be like this person, and it's like it just kind of distorts reality, and it's kind of just superficial now, bro, in a certain way. But yeah, bro, it's like totally different from like how I grew up, like 90s, like early 2000s. And I just feel like progressively it kind of like got worse in certain ways. So yeah, it is what it is, man. It's I feel like a lot of cities like that though, but
Do, do you attribute that to like the influx of outsiders, and maybe they're not spiritually in line, they got some demons in them, and it's just like a virus, once it infects it just spreads? Because my sister went to Georgia State grad school, this is decades ago, and even
okay.
then, back then, she was like, little bro, I don't think you might want to, maybe Atlanta's not for you. And this is like mid 90s. I went to Freaknik, so
Yeah.
I was aware of Atlanta
Yeah.
and with all the upside to it. And I'll take it back to the child murders with Wayne. I
Oh
remember
yeah.
watching that trial. I watched the documentaries with my mother, and they made him look crazy. I still don't believe he did it to those kids, but that cloud that cast over Atlanta
Yeah,
at the
it definitely
time.
brought a lot of dark energy, like, to the city. I mean, I think outsiders kind of have like, something to do with it.
Okay,
I don't know, man. I think it's just like some weird ass shit. Cause I mean, I've had like a lot of like paranormal, extraterrestrial type experiences. So I know that like there's something here. Like
okay.
I can't quite put my finger on it. But yeah, bro, Atlanta is definitely a portal for good and bad. But yeah, it's funny you brought up the Atlanta child murders. I feel like that in particular kind of like was a ritual of sorts
Yeah.
to kind of like usher in a certain, just like a certain like darkness to the city. And
Mhm.
because I mean, like even like back in the day, like Atlanta was really more known as like, a party city, clubs and stuff. And it's like now it's like, bro, I mean, it's getting so bad now to where I don't even really be going outside like that. Like it's really crazy out here now, bro.
Do you find yourself at some point contemplating leaving the city altogether, or are you just gonna find your little plot of land and be like, "This is where I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be out in the cut, maybe in Kennesaw or somewhere out."
Um, I mean, like the thing about it, bro, is like I really like the outside areas of Atlanta
Okay,
more than like Atlanta itself. I feel like because it's a lot of land. Like just when we talk about Georgia, like Georgia is super big, bro. Like it's a lot of land, and it's like the further you kind of get away from like the city, I mean, you can find like some good houses for cheap. So I mean, it's like still some good opportunities there. It's just like if you want to be like in the mix, like yeah, brother, you're gonna be getting taxed for like some bullshit pretty much. But I mean, I can see myself leaving. I mean, I've lived in a couple other states, like throughout my years, but it just seemed like something always kind of just brought me back here. And then also too, it's like, I own a couple studios here, so it's like it's really like a business. It's really like a business venture more than anything at this point. It's just like I'm able to like kind of like make a lot of money here. So that's really the main thing that's kept me here, really. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely open. Like I try not to just put myself in a box, and always try to keep my options open. But I mean, with the way things are going, bro, I mean, I could definitely see myself leaving, in the future.
Last Atlanta question. I think when you talk Atlanta, sometimes you have to remind people there's like two Atlantas. You got the metro in the city, and then there's everything outside
Yeah,
outside of Atlanta. So
no, that's real. And like I said, like the outside areas, I mean, I just think it's like, I mean, I like those areas because a lot of people don't know about it. So it's kind of more low key. Like even like where I live at, it's like it's really pretty peaceful. Like, we don't really have like a lot of like, commotion or
mhm.
bullshit going on. So it's some good areas. Like I'm not just gonna say that it's all bad. But yeah, like when you like in the mix, like directly in the city, it's like, yeah, bro, it's a high probability your car might get broken into. Like, my car done got broken into like hella times. So it's just one of those things, bro.
That's crazy because I remember right before I left in '08, they were doing the expansion out in Midtown. Midtown was nowhere, nothing like it is now. But I remember back then, all the new construction and they were having issues with kick doors and stuff like that. And I'm like, it's that
Yeah.
time. And then I saw the influx of, the gender culture come in, and it's
Oh
just
yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
it's,
Yeah. Yeah. That definitely like changed a lot too.
well,
Um, yeah,
let
that
me
definitely
ask you,
kind of
people of our age, our ilk, are they ready? Okay, I tell older people all the time, I don't think y'all ready for this gender fluid thing that's about to be. We're gonna be like dinosaurs. Like I remember back in the day, it didn't used to be like this, and you were only two genders, and I hate to pick on Atlanta, but it's like San Francisco.
yeah.
We could point to and say that there's a perfect example.
Yeah.
How not ready are the average person when it comes to in because I'm asking you because I remember the clip from Bobby Hemmett. And he was like, well, and bisexual people are like, the
Oh yeah,
gatekeepers
yeah, I
to
remember that.
okay, and I was just like, ooh, Bobby, you lost me
Yeah,
with
that's a
that one.
tough one.
Okay, so
That's a tough one.
I want to get your take on that.
I mean, bro, I'm a pretty open-minded person, so it's like, especially like working in like the music and entertainment industry, it's like you pretty much like have to be around them. So you kind of have to like learn to kind of adapt in a certain way. So I mean, I've met some people like in that lifestyle that was cool, but I mean, most people are not really, it's just a different world, bro. And it's like when you're actually in it, like I'm kind of used to it, so I'm not really, I wouldn't really get too bothered by it. But I just put it like this, bro. Like I know people who have like, seen people that have transitioned,
Mhm.
and it's like let's just say they're getting better with the surgeries now, to where it's like a lot of these dudes, bro. I mean, just to keep it real, I mean, they pretty much are going for it at this point. I mean, so it's like slowly but
Yes,
surely
yes,
you start to
yes.
see like even like some of the most toughest, most gangster type niggas. I mean, bro, like they be chilling with these people. I mean, it is what it is. So it's like I know myself. I know like what I'm into and what I'm not into. So I kind of just be like on my own wave. But yeah, bro, it's like you got to be careful when people invite you to events. You never really know where you're going for real, bro. So you might see some things that you're not ready for. But it's I just feel like it's kind of inevitable. Like the seeds was planted a while ago, and I feel like now it's just so like in everybody's face that people kind of like, oh damn, hold up, like
Mhm.
when did it get like this? But it really has been happening for a minute.
I want to go back. So at one point you were paralyzed.
Yeah,
So without tell me as much as you want or not, but I I don't even. I had an uncle who was paralyzed by motorcycle accident, and
yeah.
I don't even know what that was like for you. I mean, can you somehow walk us down that, or just give us a brief glimpse of
Oh
what it
yeah, no,
took?
I mean I'm pretty transparent about the story. So basically, this happened in 2020, like during COVID.
Okay.
So basically, I kind of used to be like in a certain lifestyle when I was younger, just young and dumb, like kind of like still trying to find myself. And so basically, I ended up doing a little time, like did like a year locked up. And so when I got out, I really decided to like really change my life and like focus to be like just a more positive and more responsible person. And basically, I had to make a decision where it's like I had to kind of like X out a lot of my old friends.
Okay.
And so basically, I started to like really get serious and I started making money. Like my social media started to pop off. And so that kind of built a lot of resentment with like my older friend groups that I kind of stopped fucking with. And so, yeah, basically, like, these niggas tried to rob me. And I ended up getting shot in the back. Bullet directly hit my spine. And it like fractured my vertebrae, like the T10 to L2.
Okay.
And yeah, bro, the doctors told me I would never walk again. So I was like in Grady for like 9 months. Then I went to Emory for a few months. And yeah, bro, I tell people it was like the worst experience, but also it was kind of like the best experience in a way too, because it kind of forced me to just, look deeper within myself and kind of find like a certain strength that I didn't even really know that I had. But yeah, bro, hating ass niggas, bro. Basically, I ended up getting shot. And what's so crazy about it is like these was niggas that I was cool with. So it's not like it was just like random niggas that kind of just did it. Like these are people that, I really tried to help. And it just taught me a valuable lesson that like, when like certain things is just meant for you. And it's like you can't really help these niggas, bro, as far
Right.
as like trying to like enlighten them and kind of trying to put them on about, certain things that may be beneficial. And I kind of just learned the hard way, because as I thought that I was like helping them, in their mind, it really seemed like I'm kind of talking down to them.
Okay.
So yeah, bro, it was just a weird situation, but I was really kind of like, hurt emotionally by it too, because, I feel like I always try to like just keep it real with people. And it's like, I'm pretty kind hearted. Like, I'm not really like just the type of nigga that just like does shady shit. Like if I don't fuck with you, bro, I'll just tell you.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's like just that whole situation, bro, it kind of just taught me a lot about human nature. And just you gotta always be on point at all times. But yeah, bro, it was like 2 years, about 2.5 years I was paralyzed. So yeah, I got shot in 2020, and then I started walking again like late 2022.
Oh,
Um
okay. So between the doctor's diagnosis and you being the antithesis of the complete diagnosis, what was the moment that you realized they're wrong? I can do this.
um I mean, honestly, bro, I'm just kind of so arrogant and delusional that I just always felt like I was gonna walk again.
Okay.
Like, just like the type of person I am, bro. Like, I don't really give a fuck if you a doctor or who you are. Like, you can't tell me about how my life is gonna be. So yeah, like immediately, like as soon as they like told me that, in my mind, I was like, bro, that's cap. Like, it's no way I'm gonna be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life.
Okay.
I just couldn't fathom that shit happening, bro. So yeah, it's like just every day, like meditating, visualizing, seeing myself walking, being healthy, like drinking all like the teas and the alkaline foods, and just really putting my full like faith and energy towards that reality.
Mhm.
I feel like if I didn't have that type of mindset, I probably wouldn't have walked again. But yeah, it was definitely surreal, because like even when I got shot, I didn't even know that I was paralyzed until like I woke up in the hospital, because it's kind of a crazy story, but it's so many lessons in this shit. This is kind of why I like talking about it. But I lived on Glenwood, and like Glenwood is like the hood. And what's so crazy is, out of all the people that came to help me, because when I got shot, they basically came to like my studio, tried to rob me. That shit went left. And so I'm laying in the floor bleeding out.
Damn.
And I reached for my phone to call 911, and the phone was dead. So I said, bro, it's over with. Like this is it. And luckily I was able to kind of like just drag myself to the door, and I just yelled out the door. And out of all people, bro, this old white lady came.
It's always the white people. I ain't gonna sit here and lie, dog.
Hey, bro, this
It's
old
always
white
white
lady, bro. And like I say, like I'm in the middle of the trenches, like in the hood, like Glenwood, like, and out of all people, bro, this random old white lady, she came over there, she put the towel on my wound, she called the police on paramedics, and they came. But if it wasn't for that lady, bro, I mean, it probably would have been over with. Because I definitely lost a lot of blood. But yeah, like even when I was in the hospital, it's like it took me like a couple weeks to even really process what happened.
Okay.
Because it's just one of those things where it's like you're not really expecting, like, you wake up, Saturday morning, like, oh yeah, today I'm gonna get shot.
Mhm.
It's like it just kind of happens, and it's like, damn, like how the fuck did I end up in this situation? But at the same time, I feel like going through that situation kind of like helped me like in my career as far as like with the content and social media,
Mhm.
because like once I kind of started to talk about that, that's one of like the main talking points that kind of like blew me up. So it's like one of those things, bro, where it's like it's a bittersweet ending to it. And it's I did learn a lot of things just about the brain and like neuroscience, because I had to do a lot of research, because what I learned is like, you really don't walk with your legs, you really walk with your brain.
Right.
Because like the electrical signals like go from your brain through the spinal cord, and that's kind of what allows you to move. So
Mhm.
even when I was talking to one of the surgeons, he was like, yeah, bro, like even you just imagining yourself walking, like you're still firing those neurons. So it's kind of interesting how like science and the metaphysical, spiritual, kind of aligns at certain points as well. But yeah, bro, like even to this day, man, I'm still healing from it. It's like one of those things where it's like I don't know if you ever, will come back 100%
Okay.
from
Right.
an injury like that. It's because like I said, I mean, I can walk, but I'm still not really able to run.
Okay.
So it's just like a work in progress. I'm definitely, looking to like start getting in the gym and really like just taking care of my health better overall. But it's so many weird things too, bro. Like, when you paralyzed, not to really like go to like, TMI, but you lose everything, bro. So like
Mhm.
using the bathroom, all of that is gone, bro. And you have to like build all of that shit back up. So yeah, it's a very, very humbling experience.
Did you have suffer a lot of atrophy in the muscles and in the legs at all, or?
Yeah, at first, like I mean, like I said, it was probably like 8 to 9 months
Okay.
where it's like I was pretty much like immobile. But once I like was able to like move my big toe, I said, oh yeah, I got
It's a
their ass.
wrap. Okay.
You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? Once I could move that big toe, I was like, oh yeah, I'm good. But like I ain't gonna cap, like after like, a couple of months and like not really seeing a lot of progress, I did start to have some doubts. Like, man, maybe these people are right, bro. Like maybe it's no coming back from this shit. But it's just I just feel like it's a test of your own, belief in self at the end of the day. But
Okay.
yeah, bro, definitely a crazy story.
So, how much do you attribute your recovery to your mindset versus the research you did, as far as you bouncing back from it? Because you telling this story, and I got a guy that's in the chat. He's also in a wheelchair as well.
Yeah.
So, would it be fair to say, okay, bro, maybe it's your thought pattern process, maybe because you too can get out of this situation as well. You just put your mind to it. I mean, it's so, what I'm saying, it's
Yeah.
too cut and dry for that. So, if someone
I
said
mean,
that to you,
I'll explain it like this, bro, because I don't try to go like too spiritual miracle all the time. I
okay,
will always tell anybody that's paralyzed that you can heal yourself,
okay,
because I just feel like overall that's like there's more upside to believe that you can do it
okay,
than to believe that you can't do it. So I would always tell, anybody like, yeah, bro, you can heal yourself. But at the same time, it's different varying levels, like levels of injury.
right,
So it's like, for example, like you have like depending on where your injury is at, like in the spinal cord, like that can kind of like determine how much of an uphill battle that you have. So it's like it's a lot of nuance to it. So it's like without knowing somebody's full situation and knowing like the full scope of their injury, it's kind of hard to really say. But I mean, I believe that my mindset definitely helped. Like I feel like if I was just negative all day, I probably wouldn't have, had the same level of success. And if I did, it probably just would have took longer, because even when I was in rehab, it was a lot of other people that, was paralyzed as well. And, a lot of them, they didn't take the initiative to like wake up every morning and like exercise. Like I used to get up every morning, like even if I was just like exercising my arms, I always would stay active.
okay,
Like just because I knew like just on a subconscious level, like the more energy that I'm able to just like facilitate through my body, like it has to go somewhere. But you know, a lot of people kind of just give up because it is like super hard. Like you're not gonna want to, you know, like really go through that pain. Because even right now, bro, I'm still in pain. Like it's one of those injuries where it's like, you know, I tell people, bro, like I never really slept the same after that.
Okay.
You know, it's kind of hard for me to like just really get comfortable when I like sleep and lay down. It's just a lot of weird shit. I feel like ever since then, bro, I be having like hot and cold flashes. Just a lot of weird things. It's like my whole body kind of had to change, you know, due to that situation. So,
So, how much of it is the spinal cord versus if the body can find a way to reroute the electrical signals to the particular limbs?
well, like I say, I mean, I think every person's like situation is different. Because like I say, like getting shot by a bullet versus getting like hit by a car or like falling off of something, like all of that can kind of like, you know, make it difficult, more difficult or easier, just depending on the exact situation.
Mhm.
So that's why it's like I try not to just give people like a foolproof plan, like, oh yeah, I did it, so anybody can do it. Like,
Right, right.
because at the same time, like I feel like that would kind of be like irresponsible.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it's like I just think you have a better chance of doing it if you do believe that you can. And once I kind of just did that research about like just like the brain and the neurons, that kind of just like gave me and it really connected a lot of dots too, because like even like in the occult, they'll tell you like, oh yeah, your subconscious mind can't tell the difference between what's real
Really, and
and what's
that's right.
imaginary.
Right, right, right.
So I kind of took a lot of that to heart. So I mean, I can't really say, man. Like I want to tell people that they can do it, but you know, if they don't believe it, I mean, it's almost kind of like a self fulfilling prophecy.
So, what was the spark for you that said, "Okay, this spiritual thing, this occult thing, this is the path I want to go. I want to go down this rabbit hole." What was that motivating moment? And you're like, "Okay, let's go."
I mean, a lot of things just made sense. Like as far as like I always was kind of like just into alternative things. So I kind of knew like, yeah, like going to college and, you know, getting a degree and kind of like going down that path wasn't really just what I really wanted to do, like what I really, you know, felt my heart was into.
Mhm.
Like I said, I come from like music and, you know, creativity. So, you know, the spiritual things kind of like it kind of reminds me of that in a way, to where it's like a lot of people even in consciousness they're so rigid with their belief system that really to me consciousness is really like another religion at this point.
Okay.
Like the way that people kind of like use it, I mean it's basically like Christianity 2.0 for real. So I just felt like a lot of things made sense, like a lot of you know, and I just had like a lot of personal experiences where weird things happened that I couldn't really explain logically. And it kind of just led me down a path of like just wanting to know more. And like I say, you know, I like to read, like I like to learn things, like even like when it comes to like the social media stuff, like in business and entrepreneurship, and even like with Darius, like, you know, he taught me a lot just about business. It's like I like to learn. A
Mhm.
lot of people kind of, you know, don't really like to learn because it forces them to kind of get out their comfort zone.
Right.
But yeah, I just look at it like it's like any other field, and you can use it to better your life, and you can use it to navigate through life in a certain way. So I found it helpful in a lot of situations. So yeah, it's just growth and evolution as a person. I feel like, you know, when you study ancient Egypt and all of this, I mean, at the end of the day, bro, they lived life, they documented what they lived, and I feel like we can do the same. And it's just like I think people try too hard to like explain things instead of just actually living it.
Okay. Let me ask you, the amount of pushback that I know that you get,
Oh yeah.
how much of it, to your best guess, is due to religious indoctrination?
I'll say probably 80%. I mean, I think most of it is religion. You know, people are always calling me, you know, "Oh, bro, he a devil worshiper, you know, he's satanic." And I'd be like, hell yeah, bro. You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean,
Like, I mean, cause like with me, like, I mean, I understand like just marketing. So it's like I'm gonna always kind of play up
Okay.
people's superstition and fears.
Okay.
But a lot of it is religious, and then a lot of it also too is just, when people see you have a lot of followers and views, it kind of like makes them feel lesser than. So some of it is that too. The fact that, I actually create content and most of these people really just consume. And it's like people want to kind of like take their own frustrations out in their life on somebody else. But yeah, a lot of it definitely stems from religion. Like, bro, like every single day, like I get like paragraphs of random people like, bro, I'm gonna pray for you, brother. This. Like, bro, do not pray for me, my
Oh,
nigga.
no, I don't
Like,
want you.
I'm good on it.
Let's let's go to music. We have similar backgrounds in the music.
Yeah,
Um, I've been to the Stankonia a few times. I remember when they first built it out.
yeah,
I would go over there with Jarvis Blackshear, and I've seen Rico a few times. Let me the state of music, hip hop. Now, I have a stance on hip hop. I say hip hop is the embodiment of Arrested Development. It's one of those genres. It's probably the genre that just cannot grow up for whatever reason. I don't think it's meant to grow up.
yeah.
Um, what are your thoughts on it? You seen it from your vantage point from young until to your age now, and you still being in the business.
Yeah, man. I mean, to me, it's really kind of sad. Um, because it's a lot of niggas that like I grew up with that like, we all kind of I feel like most niggas in the hood, bro, like their dream is to be a rapper. And it's like to see niggas like in their 40s, like still trying to like rap and they haven't really found any type of success. I'm like, bro, like at a certain point, you kind of just got to be able to like accept the fact that like, bro, maybe you should, try something else. See, I definitely feel that, man. I feel like it's just so much energy and hype around it that people just can't really let it go. But like even with me, like I said, I was kind of more into like rock music because I play instruments. Like, I play the piano, I play the guitar. So it's like, rapping is cool, but it's like I'll really just kind of sit down in front of my piano and just play the piano for
Okay.
hours.
Okay.
Like, I'm actually working on like a classical piano album
Nice.
because I kind of just want to break like doors down and kind of like just show niggas like, bro, music is so vast and we've kind of like I don't even want to just say watered it down, but we kind of limit ourselves because I'm gonna be real, like I don't trust niggas who only listen to rap music.
Okay.
Like I feel like the more diverse styles of music you listen to, like the more open-minded that you'll be. And it's just different vibrations, different rhythms. Like, I stay listening to like a lot of like weird shit. Like, I be listening, like you might catch me listening to some jazz, listening to some Miles Davis or some shit. And it's like most people can't really get into that type of music, but I'm like a real nerd when it comes to like music and like, understanding like, intervals and like the actual science of
You
it. So
understand music theory as
yeah,
opposed.
exactly. Like, like, yeah, I can sit down in front of a piano, like, nigga, I can go into the blues. I can play like pretty much every genre, but it's really just because as a young kid, I was always fascinated with it. And one thing I will give the church though is some of the best musicians come from church.
Oh, for sure. And they
Um
can't read a lick of music, which is
exactly.
fascinating to me. Like how? Like
Yeah, like I mean, that's kind of how I learned. It's like, just certain older guys in church that kind of just showed me like a certain blueprint of
yeah.
like, oh yeah, like these chords, this is how you get
Yep.
that soulful sound.
Yep.
And once I could kind of map my mind to the keys, it was pretty much a wrap. But yeah, man, I just think like, hip hop, once it became a global, like business empire, I mean, that kind of just like it kind of took the purity out of it in a certain way to where
Okay.
now, I mean, most of these niggas rapping, bro, it's really just a lick, pretty much. Like it's almost like a hustle. And that's why it's like, I mean, it's a lot of artists that I do fuck with, but I definitely feel like just the overall like respect for music isn't really, there like that.
I'm on the same page as you. When I think when a guy hits a certain age limit, I'm like, put the microphone down. So when they come back to you with Rick Ross and Two Chains, well, they did it. They were pushing for. I don't. Those are such outliers. Like they're
Yeah.
not. You'll you can't reproduce that shit time and time again. So
Yeah.
when you get those pushback type of arguments and responses, what is your response to that, or do you even entertain the conversation even further when it gets to that point?
Bro, at this point, bro, I mean, I don't really have time to like go back and forth with people. I just be
Yeah.
like, bro, you got it, bro. I wish you the best. I just know like how the music industry works. I mean, you really have like a 0.1% chance of making it anyway. And it's like if you're like coming into the game and you don't really have like, any business acumen, a lot of times you either just gonna get finessed or you're not gonna make it anyway. So a lot of people don't even like study the business part of it.
Mhm.
And it's like they kind of just have this dream. It's really just a fantasy. Because like even with me, it's like, I made more money like through the sync placements as a
Okay.
producer than trying to like, produce for these artists a lot of times because I just understand it's like, okay, this major artist is going to put out an album every 2 years. It's going to be like 15 songs like on that album. Like the chances of me getting on that album is pretty slim.
Mhm.
So I just kind of like, even when I was young, I always looked at it like that. Like, bro, we got millions of niggas trying to rap for these limited spaces. I need to learn about the sync game. I need to learn about, the underlying aspects around the underlying aspects around the music if I want to have any type of success. And I've been able to make, a certain, decent amount of money, like nothing really like crazy. But I just think, man, it's a fantasy pretty much for most niggas. And like I say, I mean, I don't knock niggas. I mean, shit, you can put a song out and I mean it might blow up. I just feel like even that era is kind of gone. Just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just put my song out, bro.
Just
And
gonna.
like,
Yeah.
come on, bro. Like if you don't got no marketing budget, if you don't have like, a real rollout and a plan, a lot of times because I used to try to like do marketing and kind of like help artists, but a lot of these niggas think they know everything. And it's just it just ended up being like a waste of time. So yeah, I just let people, do them, bro. I just do me at this point.
Speaking to the sync licensing, has the fact that Atlanta, like being the third hub of Hollywood, has that helped? And or you were getting them the licenses regardless if they came to Atlanta or not for the TV
I mean,
film.
I just think it's all about just connections and network in general. So it's like I've just been fortunate to like meet a lot of people throughout life. And that's really always just been like the most important factor.
Okay.
Because if I have like a good relationship with somebody, like even like recently, it's a speaker company named JBL. And Giannis, the basketball player, he did a commercial with them. And one of my beats was in that commercial.
Okay.
And I got that placement just because one of my friends who was like working the campaign, he just literally reached out to me. He's like, bro, you got some beats? Like we filming this commercial. So it's like, just personal connections. I think it's the most important thing when it comes to getting any type of placements.
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, if you're around the right people, you'll be able to like get in on some things. Because a lot of times, like when these brands and companies, like they're not surfing the internet, to look for music. They're just gonna ask somebody, like some supervisor, and whoever can just produce the music the fastest and just make it in alignment with what they're asking for. That's who's gonna get that placement. So, but yeah, definitely Atlanta is definitely a networking hub. Like I say, it's a lot of bullshit, it's a lot of finessing, it's a lot of scamming, but it still is like a very powerful network hub. Like because especially when we talk about the airport and how much people travel here, I mean, you're bound to run into somebody that can benefit you in some way if you are also able to be beneficial yourself.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah. I tell people all the time, like, that networking, especially if, like you say, if you're a black woman and you got a business,
oh yeah,
it's
facts.
it's doors are, unlimited potential.
Oh
So
yeah.
when did you decide, or you figured out that being an entrepreneur was the best route for you?
Well, I mean, I never really had like a traditional 9 to 5 job.
Okay.
Like I kind of always was like hustling or kind of like, just like kind of unconventional. And then like I said, like I kind of had like an accelerated life. Both of my parents died when I was young, like around like high school. So
Okay.
it's like I kind of had to grow up fast in a certain way. And so it's like, yeah, by the time I was 19, like I already had an apartment. And it's like a lot of niggas, like, you know, I'm not trying to talk down on people, but it's like, it's a lot of niggas my age. I just turned 30 this year. But a lot of niggas don't have a car, they don't have like, a house, they still living with their people. And they don't really have like that initiative or that drive to really, kind of go out here and like, just make things happen. And I kind of just always had that type of energy. Um, just even like as a kid, bro, like I always just had like an absurd level of confidence in myself. So I just think that, kind of pushed me and forced me to be an entrepreneur because I just knew like, first of all, um, if I want to get rich, I'm gonna have to be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
And like I'm trying to get rich, bro. Like I'm not like most of these like conscious niggas that try to be all holier than thou and like act like, money isn't important. I'm trying to like really get a bag. So I always had that mindset. And I think learning the skills necessary to attract those opportunities is really like the real thing that separates you. There's a lot of people that have like, the dreams of what they want to do, but they don't
Mhm.
have like the necessary skills. Like, I know how to make websites, like I know how to run ads on all these different platforms, like all of these things that you kind of need to know how to do, like just on a business level. Like I was able to teach myself these things. So it's like when I compare myself to a lot of people that's like quote unquote industry certified standard,
Mhm.
I mean, a lot of times I feel like I kind of have outpaced them in a certain way just when it comes to like the actual work and the manifestations that have been shown. So yeah, bro, I always kind of just even as a kid just always knew that I was destined for something big. And it seems like it's kind of all panning out at this time.
Let me ask you. So, your relationship with Darius, outside of that, how
Yeah.
hard was it in working with? Because we black men, we're probably the most divisive,
Yeah,
probably the most backstabby, most untrusty of
no,
each
it's
other.
real.
So, how difficult was it for you to get to that point where you can get with a Darius and be like, okay, I found a kindred spirit, and this is a right situation for me. How much shit did you have to go through? Okay,
Man,
if you can talk about that, please.
bro, I hate to say this, bro. I'm not gonna say no names, but it was a couple other niggas, man, in this community,
Okay.
and they was trying to get me to speak at one of their events. And I was like, yeah, bro, I'm down to do it, but we gotta handle the business first. Like I don't speak for free, bro.
Right.
And they tried to like get offended and make it seem like I was like against the culture, or it's like I wasn't really, trying to uplift the people. And I'm like, bro, like this is a business for me. And it's like I feel like a lot of times niggas don't really just understand how business works in general, and we kind of just bring like just like the nigga mentality to everything. Um, and with Darius, like even when he hit me up, it's like it was never no pressure.
Okay.
Like it was always like I didn't feel threatened. I didn't feel like he was trying to like get over. And when we actually talked, like everything made sense. It wasn't like, because a lot of niggas would try to leave out certain details, like with that event, they was basically trying to like use me to like, get the ticket sales,
Mm.
and then they was gonna pay me on the back end. But I hate to bring this up. When I mess with them white folks, it's always a deposit immediately. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna send you a deposit today, like even before I have to ask. But when I'm trying to work with my own people, it's like, oh yeah, just do it for free and we'll fuck with you, on the back end. It's like, bro, like if this is how we're doing each other, it's like how can we build anything substantial if we kind of like trying to constantly get over on each other? But with Darius, bro, I felt like it was mutually beneficial
Mhm.
because he brought a lot of value. A lot of like, I do a lot of the promotion, like a lot of the, influencer bullshit. But with him, like he brought a lot of value and he taught me a lot of things. And a lot of niggas, bro, try to gatekeep knowledge and gatekeep information. But bro was like, he was just showing love, and he taught me things that I still hold on to that has really elevated me in business. And I'm sure I probably taught him certain things as well, but it was like it was just a smooth flow with everything.
Mm.
I didn't feel like it was like a lot of ego and nigga trying to like feel like he know more than you, so you should listen to him. Like it was just cool, bro. And really, I'm so paranoid that I was like, man, this shit too good to be true. You know, so like it got to be some type of catch to it. But I had knew about him before I actually met him, because I knew like he was like doing the marketing, and I had like saw his marketing agency, so I always had like, you know, kind of like a certain level of respect.
Mm.
But yeah, bro, we definitely have done like a lot of good work together, man. And you know, he's like one of the few people, because I'm like very like isolated and withdrawn to an extent. Especially like after getting shot, bro. Like I really don't fuck with too many people for real. Um, and it's like if I don't like if I meet you like the first time and it's like the energy is off, I just trust my intuition a lot of
Okay.
times.
Okay.
And that's kind of just how I've been moving. You know, more recently.
So it sounds like you have not given up on working with your people for the most part. Because I can point
Um,
to Darius as like, okay, here's an example. You haven't forsaken us to a certain extent.
yeah, I mean, bro, like I'd always try to like be, you know, have a certain level of empathy, like not
Okay.
too much though, because I mean, I understand that like, you know, it's I mean, it's hard out here, bro, and it's like I do know that working together is the smarter and the better choice. It's just like a lot of times, you know, when you are working with niggas, it's like everyone doesn't respect, you know, other people's time and energy.
Okay.
So the respect has to be there first. Like I said, like with bro, I felt like it was respect from the beginning. So it's like we had a solid foundation to build from. Whereas like a lot of people, bro, it's like they just kind of want to use me for my followers. And it's like, that's it. And it's like, okay, you know, I'll take the money and I'll do the post. But it's like, you know, if you like go out of your way to do more, I'm gonna kind of return that favor, bro. Like that's always how I've been.
Okay.
So you know, I just match energy, bro, basically.
So let's get to some finances, economics. Um, do you care? Well, I don't know how can I phrase this? Do you have the inflation fear, the fear mongering? Are you caught up in that? Like we all got bills to pay. We all inflation hits everybody, but you don't sit and worry about who they put in office per se because at the end of the day, you still gotta go out and do what you gotta do. How are you taking in this fever pitch for this election cycle, and especially with our people?
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely crazy. Yeah, I feel like this election definitely has like a lot more just like angst behind it.
Mm.
Um and I mean the economy is real. Like I say, I mean, I'm in a situation where I'm not really like, you know, stressed out about everything. Like I'm able to like take care of myself. But as far as just like other people, I still have to be aware of what's going on, because even if it doesn't like affect me directly, I mean, it affects people that I know, which can affect me. So yeah, bro, I mean, seeing prices go up on just everyday items, I mean, I take it into consideration, because I look at it where it's at now, and then I think, okay, later on down the line, you know, how is it going to be? You know, rent price. Like I remember like 600, $500 rent. Like, you know, it's like, I remember that shit, bro. Now it's like, even in the hood, they got niggas paying a band for studio apartments. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna be real. I don't know how a lot of niggas are surviving right now.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so I'm definitely conscious of it. And it's like I'm still kind of like, you know, in tune with like, you know, the streets, so to speak. So I hear about a lot of the savagery that's going on, like, you know, every single day. Like it seemed like it's some tragic event that's happening, just because that's another thing about Atlanta too. I think like people get caught up in the Black Hollywood, but it's a lot of poverty here, bro. Like I don't think a lot of people really understand that. They just like, you know, get into the love and hip hop narrative. But yeah, bro, it's a lot of people that's really struggling out here.
Well,
Um,
it's funny you said that because I remember when I go to Buckhead or it's the other place, the other bougie place, and then I wouldn't think nothing about Cleveland Avenue or somewhere in
yeah,
Decatur. I wouldn't think nothing about it because I'm like I'm in Buckhead. This is where it's supposed to be at, right?
yeah,
And I for a little bit got caught up in that madness, and then I didn't realize, you got the haves, and you definitely got a whole lot of have-nots. The gentrification. with Atlanta. Now, if I correct me if I'm wrong, but basically they still trying to do the annexing, right? Have their own city
Oh
per
yeah,
se.
oh yeah.
So
Because
I
I mean,
okay, go ahead.
niggas kind of fucked it up, bro. I mean, bro, it was like fucking like 10 shootings at Lenox Mall, bro. Like around like 2020, like bro, it was like a shooting like every month type shit. And it's like when these type of events happen, like, yeah, bro, these people are gonna eventually be like, all right, look, enough is enough. You know, we're gonna separate and I mean it's you can see it coming. So it's like I don't really trip on it too much. I mean, I just think it's just a natural it's just a natural flow of life. I mean, wealth
Okay.
inequality will always lead to a certain amount of violence, crime. I mean, you know, if you actually starving out here, I mean, you know, it's do or die for a lot of people. So it's like I don't, you know, really condone it, but I understand it. So yeah, I don't really know what the solution is. Like I say, like even like where I'm at, because I pretty much lived in like in every part of Atlanta. So I really started off like in Camilton Road.
Okay.
But you know, like after the Olympics and you know, they kind of started to like, you know, ship people to different places.
Yeah.
Then we moved to Decatur. So I was in Decatur for a little bit, but I pretty much lived in a lot of different areas. And I mean, I can just really see it more and more now. Like when I start seeing like these smart homes being built,
Okay.
I'll be like, oh yeah, this shit is coming. Like, you know, when I start to just see little small things that's, you know, being introduced to the community where it's like certain like the mom and pop stores start going out of business and they get replaced with more corporate things and you start seeing the Starbucks. It's like all of that shit, it's like it happens slowly over time. And then you look up 5 years later and it's like, damn, like these people really kind of took over this shit. Um,
Well,
so yeah, bro. I mean, as far as like Atlanta being like the black mecca, because I mean, even like I say, like even on the west side now, bro, I mean, you'll be in the hood and you go down one street and you'll see like white people walking dogs and shit. And it's almost kind of like surreal to kind of just see it unfolding in front of you. Um, like it's crazy, but like you'll have like $1 million homes like next to bandos, like junkies walking down the street. But then it's also like, you know, this new construction. It's like it's really kind of crazy. Um yeah, man, if I had more bread, bro, I would definitely be you know, gentrifying these neighborhoods too though.
oh, so let me ask you, yo, y'all had it. Y'all had Atlanta in a chokehold. Like it was y'all's. Like what the
Yeah,
fuck
bro.
happened? I mean, so do you even entertain the question like how do we mess this up? But the bigger question is, are we able to hold on and maintain? Because I look at any other city where we're the dominant numbers, majority wise. I'm not gonna get into the if it's Democrat or Republic ran, but
Yeah.
whatever black city that the numbers and from the DA down to the chief to the mayor to whatever, it just we can't maintain this shit for it's like the black neighborhood, the homes and the gardens, the yards, and you see where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
So what do you attribute that to? Or what are some of the reasons you think? Is it just in us to just not fuck shit up? Like is it a karmic thing? Is it spiritual? Ass whooping
Man,
we still paying for? What are your thoughts on that?
man, that's a tough one. I mean, honestly, bro, I think it's a lot of responsibility that, you know, comes with ownership in
Okay.
general.
Okay.
Like, I mean, even in this house that I'm in now, like it seemed like every time I wake up, bro, it's something that I gotta fix. It's
Right.
something that
Right.
I kind of gotta like tend to.
Yeah.
So I think like the maintenance of it can be a lot for people. And then too, it's just like, I mean, you gotta find a way to make money. I mean, it's like you still have to like pay to maintain these things. And then, you know, a lot of people have substance abuse problems. A lot of people kind of like, you know, need somebody to kind of like, I don't even want to say like guide them, but, you know, most people, if left to their own devices, they won't really do the responsible thing,
Oh
you
yeah.
know.
Yeah. 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 Say
'Cause
that.
I mean,
Yeah.
I know a few niggas, bro, who literally got a whole house like handed down to them And it's like within a few years, like niggas either turned that shit to the trap house, or it's like, they just couldn't keep up with the payments.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, man, I don't really know what it is, bro. Like it could be some type of spiritual karmic, like just something beyond what we can even, like currently see. But yeah, it's definitely like alarming to see like how much like it's shifted, like just over the past 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
It's yeah, it's really crazy, bro. Like, I mean, it's I don't know, like it seemed like it seemed like I'm kind of lost in time in a certain way. Because like I said, it's like I feel like I'm still kind of young to where it's like I experienced like Atlanta like on its decline pretty much, like as far as like the late 90s.
Okay.
Um so I don't really even know the full extent of like what people really had. So it's kind of hard for me to even grasp. But just me in my short period of time, like, I definitely see so many changes. And yeah, bro, like I said earlier, man, these niggas finna be living in Macon in a couple years, bro. If they don't
What
they don't tighten up.
do you think that could be a blessing in disguise? Maybe making, cheap land, whatever opportunity you can create, for as a people, as a collective. I mean, we we have the knack of going wherever and
Yeah.
turning that shit into something. Now, whether we maintain it and hold on to it is nothing, that's another story. But we can go anywhere, and that should be damn
Yeah.
it,
I mean,
utopia.
I fuck with Macon, bro.
Okay.
Like honestly, um, I mean, I like the country. Like, because like my dad's side of the family is like, more country. And it's like my mom's side is more like city.
Okay.
So I always kind of like, had the ability to go to Monticello, Georgia, where it's like, people had actual farms and you actually eating the fresh grown greens like out like the yard. Like, so I do think that it's a lot of benefits to living in those environments. It's just a different speed, a different pace, different atmosphere. But yeah, I mean, it could be good. I just think people are so like just used to a certain lifestyle, um, that it may be hard for them to adjust. But I'll be real. I mean, I would buy some property out in the country,
Mm-hmm.
especially like with, just like me seeing the trends of how everything is going, just like in the more like urban areas. I mean, it may be smart to kind of like get the fuck on and, be kind of, out the way. Because I mean, even like, a lot of like wealthy people, I mean, they don't really have houses where you can just easily get to. Like they be in the country for the most part. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot of opportunities, man. Like if you're the type of person that, you're not afraid to do a little work and like you're not afraid to like go search and go hunt for something,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of hidden gems in Georgia, bro, just overall. So yeah, it's the city life is cool, man. I mean, you got the clubs and all the hoes and all that, but sometimes it's good to kind of get away, and that might help niggas kind of like, tap into a more, like higher level of consciousness, so to speak.
Um. Hmm. That's a good point. Well, damn, I had a question. I had it, and I literally just lost it. This is what
Oh
happened
yeah,
when
no, you
people who
good, bro.
uh, you you said you caught Atlanta during the decline. So when you look at the decline, do your demographic, your age group, do you guys look and say you elders, y'all left us with nothing, and we got to go out here and get out the mud because y'all fucked it up. Y'all couldn't leave us anything, no legacy. We got to get our own legacy. Do you think like that, or thoughts like that cross your mind at any point?
Yeah, it definitely crossed my mind to an extent. I mean, like I say, like, I got a lot of love for my parents, but yeah, when my parents died, bro, I mean, I didn't get anything. Like, I mean, that's just the reality of it. And it's like I don't fault them for that,
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, like, I'm blessed enough to where it's like, we did live like in like the hood for a certain amount of years, but then we also was able to live in better communities for a certain amount of years as well. So I'm just thankful that, they instilled in me a certain level of just, just life, like, morals and just understanding, like the value of hard work and understanding the value of just being a man. Because most niggas my age don't even have that. Like it's literally like just a free for all. as far as like, you know, I was fortunate to at least have a dad to where it's like, yeah, nigga, you gonna go outside and rake them goddamn leaves. Like in that level of responsibility, I feel like it can kind of like, carry over later on into life to where it's like, I don't really have a problem with, working. Like a lot of niggas my age, I mean, they would just rather just sell dope, or just like, rob niggas pretty much because like it was never instilled in them, any other way. They kind of just like, you know, followed a certain lifestyle that was kind of like programmed into them. So yeah, a lot of niggas my age, bro. I mean, it's really kind of like, I mean, hopeless as far as like, unless divine intervention comes in. I mean, I got a lot of homies that like, is doing football numbers in prison just because they couldn't figure out a way to, legally make money. And I actually was just talking to one of my homies earlier, bro. I'm just locked up right now.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's like it's definitely a lot of resentment from the youth. I can see that even with like the kids younger than me.
Okay.
Um, so I think it's important to, even if you can't get through to them, I mean, at least like try to give them some type of game. Like even if it goes in one ear and not the other, because I am thankful for the fact that it is certain older people, whether it was like family members or just people in the community, that did kind of like take me under their wing, to an extent, and just showed me certain things. So it's like I don't like to really like get into that like debate or war of like, youth versus the elders,
Okay.
because I think there are some elders that did a good job. It's just, a lot of them just didn't have the knowledge or the skills really necessary. I mean, because like take example like for my dad, like, my dad didn't graduate high school. He started working when he was like 14. Like all he knew was work. Like, so it's like I respect that about him because it's like, he provided for me and he like provided for his family. But it's like me kind of coming up. I remember like getting into arguments with him of like, I'm seeing the world in this different perspective. But to him, it's like, bro, fuck that. Like, fuck art and all this other shit you're trying to do. I mean, you got to work. Like, that's just kind of like the generation and the mentality that he was raised in. So I do think that there's a disconnect. And it's just different times. I mean, we got social media, the internet, all these different things. It's kind of impossible to expect things just to be the same, as they were.
Okay. I love what you just said. I agree with everything you just said. So, twofold question. Do you think, had your parents lived a little longer, that you wouldn't have the drive you have? Because I can speak to myself. I still got my parents. I
Yeah.
always know she goes left. I got a phone call. You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
don't take it for granted, but it took me a long time to realize, yeah, I have it better than most. I got cousins that lost both their parents early, and they are some go getting ass motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
do you think you would not have this drive that you had you had the safety net of either one or both your parents as you got
Um,
older?
yeah, I mean, it definitely awakened something inside of me.
Okay.
Like, when it happened to where it's like, I mean, I just felt like I had to make a move. So, it definitely I probably would have been like a more, like conservative type of person just in my life. But yeah, I mean, it just forced me to feel like I had to level up and figure this shit out. Um, but I mean, at the same time, I feel like I mean, I just think everything happens for a reason. And it's like this gonna sound kind of weird, but I almost feel like I have a stronger connection with them now in a
Okay.
way. Um, just on a spiritual level. It's weird because it's like just a lot of like moments where it's like I feel like I'm in communication with them, just like through very subtle signs. Like the spiritual world, a lot of time is subtle. A lot of times people looking for like unicorns to fall out the sky and shit.
Right.
But a lot of times it's like, small things that we kind of ignore that's like really the most profound. So I really feel like they did the best that they could with, what they had. So, I don't have any like resentment towards them. I used to, like, when it first happened, like, I was like, man, these niggas really didn't prepare me for shit. Like, I got to figure all this shit out on my own because I mean, they never taught me about credit or LLCs and all this type of shit. Like, you know, I had to just figure all of this shit out. So I used to feel like, damn, bro, like, why didn't they teach me this? But at the same time, bro, it's like, man, you a grown man. I mean, they did their job of raising you.
Right.
Outside of that, I don't really have anything, any type of ill intent or energy towards them, bro. But yeah, to answer your question, I definitely think, losing my parents forced me to kind of like go harder. I think trauma in general, it's either going to make you go harder or it's going to make you like become a shell of yourself.
Right. Second part of my question, and not to use your dad as an example, but if speaking to the disconnect between the youth and the elders, do you think if parents saw more value in what kids took interest in, so say like you drew, you're an artist and you did music, and your dad's like, I can't see you making any money off this,
Yeah,
in so many words that this is why I don't want you to do this shit. Go get a real job. Do you
yeah,
think if more parents were like a little bit more, if they could just kind of see the forest for the trees per se, be like, okay, maybe you could turn this into something. Do you think that
yeah.
would help close that divide, that gap to a certain extent?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like a lot of times you can learn from people that's younger than you. You can learn from kids, and it's like when you see a kid like naturally gravitate to something.
Mhm.
I mean, I feel like you're kind of tripping if you don't at least try to nurture it to some extent, because it really could be something there. Like I say, it's like I always gravitated just towards music, creativity. It was just something about it. It's like it was like a spiritual thing. And it's like looking at my life now, like it makes sense, like why I was attracted to those things. So I do think a lot of parents subconsciously limit their children. And this is
Okay.
why a lot of adults have like trouble trying to tap into their creativity because it was stifled based upon the environment that they grew up in, based upon their parents, in school and all of these different things. Because I really attribute a lot of success that I've had just from like not being afraid to experiment and just try shit. Like, I mean, like, like even like with like doing YouTube, it's like a lot of people would never even just get the courage to just, cut the phone on or cut the camera on and just, put their thoughts out there.
Mhm.
So it's like it's it's a learning lesson, a teaching moment in everything. And I definitely think a lot of parents just have like they have their dream that they want their child to live, but that might not necessarily, be the path for them. Because I got friends, especially like, niggas from the islands and shit, and it's like they parents is like, bro, you're gonna become a doctor
Okay.
type shit. And it's like I see how later on in life, bro, like they hate their parents, bro. Because it's like they might even become a doctor, but it's still like this underlying tension of like, you know, I'm not really doing what, I feel like I should do. And it's kind of like eating at me in a certain way. So I don't know, man. It's weird family dynamics. I think there is a certain level of just being willing to learn. I think a lot of parents don't think they can learn from their children,
Okay.
and that kind of like fucks them up in the long run.
Um, let me ask you: have we, as a people, lost our spirituality? Because I will quickly say they have become way more spiritual than we have, and I think we've either run from it, lost it, or just I don't, whatever it is. I don't think we have it. We don't have the mojo like we used to. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I agree to an extent. I
Okay.
mean, bro, I mean, I've lost like friends and family members over this shit. Like, it's like literally family members that because of the content that I put online, I mean, they just don't fuck with me at all. Like, and it's so crazy to me because I'm like, bro, just because I have different beliefs than you, like I'm able to put my personal beliefs aside and still just deal with people on just a real level, like face to face. So it's like, even if you are religious, like, I don't just go around like bashing religion. I mean, if you find value in that, I mean, who am I to tell you, that it's something wrong with it? But when you try to tell me that I'm going to hell because I don't believe in, what another man wrote in a book that was forced upon you, it's like, that's where we have an issue. But I just think a lot of people, man, they don't have like the courage to just, go into the unknown, because it's like, you don't really know what's gonna happen once you go down this path.
Mm.
And it's like, it's a lot easier to kind of just, go the traditional path and, religion, work a job, just do these things, because I mean, it's less risky. I mean, I'm like a high risk, high reward individual. So it's like, I understand most people are not like that. Like, that's why it's like, I talk about crypto, and it's like a lot of people just can't get into it, because it's like, it's high risk. But I mean, it's high reward and you can make a lot of money, but you have to study and you have to actually know what you're doing. So, when it comes to spirituality, man, at the end of the day, I mean, once Egypt fell, bro, and they raided the text,
Yeah.
they remixed everything, and,
Yeah.
and they gave us Jesus, bro. I mean, it's kind of hard to like, get past that, because even when we talk about, having power, because I tell niggas like, bro, I'm trying to have power, bro. Like, and it's like a lot of people can't stomach what it takes to have power.
Okay.
So it's like, when you see these people like, doing these quote unquote rituals and all these symbols and signs, and people get scared of it, I'm like, bro, this is the shit that we were using. But now you let them take it, and you
Mm.
scared of it now. You scared of your own magic. And it's just like, when you're ruled by fear, you can really never tap into power. So I think a lot of it is fear based, bro. A lot of people really have a fear of going to hell. Like, people literally think, like, by studying certain information, like, I've even had people tell me, bro, astrology is demonic.
I still catch hell.
And I'm like, bro, but what about the three wise men? I mean, it's like, I can just go all day about the contradictions. And I'm like, man, people really just take like this information at face value and just don't even question it. I mean, they tell you that. Like, I've literally heard people say like, oh yeah, you don't question God. You don't question anything in the Bible. And I'm like, bro, that sounds like mind control to me. I'm gonna always question things.
Well, my thing is this: I don't hold the boomers to that.
Yeah.
Like when they first got the TV,
Yeah.
it was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, could you imagine the generation that got the TV?
Yeah.
Mind blowing technology. You got the microwave. You just getting out. You're just not getting off the radio. I
Yeah.
don't blame boomers for having the rigid thought patterns and processes and beliefs that they have. They didn't know any better.
Yeah.
Now, come Gen X, older Gen X, like, okay, young Gen X, like, no excuse.
Yeah.
From X to millennials to Z's to alphas. The Z's alphas, clearly this shit's been blown out. It's wide open for everybody to see. They, I believe, are more spiritually inclined to listen, to have a conversation and be like, okay, well, tell me, why do you believe this?
Yeah.
It's people that I grew up with, my age, that I can't have a conversation with, because they're like, I just gotta leave you where you are. You believe that? That's
Yeah.
cool. Do you see that with your age group, that you guys are a little bit more open and willing to have a conversation? Be like, okay, let me give me something to read. I can study up on this, per se.
Well, yeah. I mean, I definitely see it. Like, as far as people just even being open to even talk about certain things, it's like, I feel like the level of conversation, because it's like, I got a lot of friends that, like, that's EFI now.
Okay.
And it's like, I mean, I know some of that shit is hype too, just because it's like, it's a lot of rappers that be talking about that shit now. But it's like, even that, I feel like, is something you wasn't really hearing about like that, like 20, 30 years ago.
Right.
I mean, now it's like, these niggas is like doing rituals and, pouring libations and like doing all of this type of shit. And it's like, to see it kind of come into just plain sight, it's definitely more out there. And I mean, I just think it's the information age because a lot of people, I think they know deep within their heart that there's something else or there's something more
Mhm.
than what they've been told.
Mhm.
But it's like, I'm trying to see how I can explain it. It's like in school. Like a lot of niggas aren't that smart because they never learned how to learn.
Okay.
Like they just really learned how to regurgitate and repeat things, but they don't know how to like research. Like you'll be surprised, bro. Like it's a lot of niggas that don't even know how to like research and like go on Google and like look at different sources of information and come to a conclusion. It's like they need things to kind of be handed to them. So I just think, in this era that we live in today, it's just more things for you to get into. So yeah, I mean, I feel you though. Like, I mean, like my grandmother, she gonna watch the news every morning and every evening. And it's like, I even say this, I actually think my grandma is more spiritual than
Okay.
most like woke niggas, even though she on the religion, just because like, her actual spirit and like just her energy
Mhm.
is like just a lot more pure. And I mean, I feel that way about a lot of people in the older generations. It's like they kind of like just was like more grounded in a certain way. And just kind of like more solid. Like, because I mean,
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to kind of like just have like just like older men, like just certain uncles or just certain friends of the family that just showed me like, the principles of just being a man and the value of like, you know, being, holding up to your word and, not being, afraid to, be different. That's one thing my dad did instill in me. Like, bro, don't be a follower. If you feel like something isn't right, don't do that shit. And so yeah, I just think the generation gap, bro, is it's just time. I mean, I can't expect a nigga in his 50s and 60s to be able to just, do the things that I'm doing on social media. Like I wouldn't even like know why you would be on social media for real. But in my reality,
Okay.
it's almost like, social media is like a drug at this point.
Okay. And I'm not gonna keep you much longer.
Yeah,
Is
you
there
good.
a proper way to do social media? I agree. I think, you hit a certain age in this day and age, this maybe not be the best thing for you. This is why, I leave Facebook people over there. To me, Facebook is like my parents. My dad got on Facebook a few years ago. I got the hell out. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, 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 no. He hates I do this. He hates it. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. Like he's 70, 78, whatever. I don't
Yeah.
expect him to come around and see things my way. I'm not gonna hold that on him. He's taught me enough to where, like, your people question everything.
Yeah.
So he did his job. um, I let him be him. He's an honorary old man, as he should be. He's earned that right. So it's weird because like the grandparents are cool. It's the parents that are the assholes for whatever
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
Um. So, damn it! I just had the damn question, bro.
Hey, no, you good, bro. You good. I'm
Bro,
chilling.
I need to take some ginkgo biloba or some shit. Let, the state of humanity. The future. Are you worried? Are you optimistic? Are things that it's like I don't know. All y'all not gonna make it, and I'm okay with that.
um, I mean, I'm optimistic for me.
Okay.
As far as like humanity, I mean, I don't know, bro. Like when I just look at humanity as a whole, I just think it's a lot of division. It's a lot of like just false narratives that people want to be true. Um, and I mean, like I say, bro, I think the average person is not very intelligent and they'll pretty much just follow whatever is the most accessible and like just the most easiest thing for them to do. And yeah, man, I mean, to me, humanity is pretty much cooked as far as like I don't see like a great mass awakening where everybody in the world is just gonna their third eye is just going to open up. Like I feel like this is always going to be for the elect,
Right.
for the chosen few. And even if people have the information, like to make the information tangible and actually be able to apply it to your life, that's the actual, like that's the real magic. Because it's a lot of niggas that even on social media, like I feel like the reason that I kind of surpassed a lot of niggas is because I didn't try too hard to like sound smart
Okay.
and try to be like I'm super deep. Like I tried to make it more relatable to where like the common person can understand. And I think like even with like the conscious community, like I don't even know what the goal with that is. Like it's almost like okay, we can have the events, we can like do all of these things, but it's like, are we supposed to awaken humanity? Are we supposed to just, become gods ourselves? Like, I don't think that there's just one clear agenda on what like we quote unquote should be doing, like just collectively. I just think is so many different factors and influences that you really just got to focus on yourself first.
Mm.
And once you get to a position to where you can be like, solidify within yourself, then you can start to, try to help others. But a lot of times, man, niggas want to be Jesus, bro. And it's like niggas think that they're gonna like they're the chosen one that's gonna wake up the masses. And I'm like, bro, wake them up to do what?
Okay, exactly. Because it's like when you have a weight goal. I'm gonna lose this much weight. Okay, then what? I didn't
Fact.
think about it that far. Yeah, it's like okay. Well,
So
here's my point, and I'll ask you this, and we'll get up out of here. I don't want everybody woken up. I don't want people to have this knowledge. They get motherfuckers out here selling spells and potions
facts.
on the internet. Like what?
Oh yeah,
That's
that's an epidemic right now.
yeah. They're ruining the craft. Like this is not what grandpappy and grandmammy went through to
Yeah,
keep these secrets. And so it seems, once again, I hate to bring race into it, but it seems we are more guilty of this than anybody else.
yeah,
Do you see it that way or no?
yeah. I see that in multiple industries. Like, I see that in the consciousness. I see it in business too, where it's like, niggas want to drop free game on everything. And it's like, you know, it's good to share knowledge, but everybody isn't ready for it, bro. Like certain things are just not meant for the masses. I mean, I kind of push the envelope sometimes with certain
Mhm.
information that I share, but at the same time, I'm very aware because actually what made me be more cautious about certain things I say is one of my friends actually took his own life.
Oh,
He was like a very, very like devout Christian, like
oh,
hardcore Bible thumber. Like I used to argue with him like every day.
okay.
And yeah, one day, bro, he just took himself out. And, I kind of felt bad because I was like, man, did I kind of like put some doubts in bro's head? Like, just with like what I was kind of like exposing myself to and talking about.
Mhm,
Because some people need religion just it's almost like it keeps them like in check. To where when they don't have that pillar of foundation,
mhm,
they can kind of become mentally unstable. Um, and I mean, I've just seen certain situations like that happen a few times where it's like if you're used to something your whole life and then you just completely go 180 and go in a completely different direction, that requires a lot of like mental strength to handle that. And I think we kind of overlook or kind of underestimate how drastic that changes. Like that will literally change your whole like anatomy in a certain
mhm.
way. Like change, like actually changing your belief system. It's like we talk about it like, oh yeah, you got to change your beliefs to change your reality, but it's not. It's not an easy thing to do. Um,
Yeah, I say all the time. I think sometimes you waking people up is probably the worst thing you could do to them. Um, let them be. You not because you're disturbing them, or you may be interacting with their free will because if they don't want to see things for what it is, um, that's a very very slippery slope. I'm just to the point where if you come ask me, You know, I'll feed you here and there, but I'm not gonna go out and be like beat my chest like I'm not. I just don't. And then those that because I had a few friends take their lives, but I never once thought they were weak or
Yeah.
cowardly. You know what I'm saying? Like to turn off that apoptosis gene
Oh yeah.
to to bypass the very thing that will fight to keep you alive to go
Oh yeah.
against
Yeah,
that.
it's
I'm just
crazy.
like,
Yeah, like it's
yeah,
definitely, yeah, it takes a certain amount of strength like
yeah,
to do it. Like, I mean, I've thought about doing it, but I I just can't even fathom actually doing that shit, bro. Like it takes something has to really be pushing you
mhm,
from the other side, bro. So yeah, man. I think it's I think it's just like consciousness is an individual thing anyway. So like once it got on the internet, like that kind of like distorted a lot of things because like even like with the post that I did about the Baphomet, I mean, most people it doesn't matter what the symbolism actually means. Just the fact that they think is evil, like that's it.
yeah.
Like nothing you tell them will ever, no matter how much like logic you bring, no matter how much you can break it down, they're just never gonna get it, bro. And you know, the earlier you can accept that, the more peace you'll have in your daily life. But yeah, bro, it's crazy, man. You know, I be getting death threats. Like, you know, I've had
That's
like
crazy, man. That's
physical altercations in the world. I mean, you know, I'm in Atlanta, bro, so it's like, you know, I'm strapped up and shit, but it's definitely it's definitely like a certain level of I don't even want to say danger, but and then I think it's a spiritual thing too, like because I think this is the reason why like a lot of these niggas end up locked up because it's like when you do have like you know this energy of like teaching people, I mean you're kind of responsible in a certain way of you know awakening people like to this information,
okay.
and it's like if you kind of are out here like feeding people knowledge and it goes left for them, I mean in a certain way it might not affect you, but it possibly could, like just energetically. So yeah, I've definitely become a lot more aware and conscious of what I say. And even like now, like I said, I'm really pivoting. Like I really been doing a lot of like video game streaming on Twitch lately.
Okay. Okay.
Um, you know, because it's like kind of blew my mind, just like that whole industry. So it's like, yeah, bro, it's like I know that it's a time limit with a lot of this shit. Like,
Mhm.
and I'm not trying to just be doing this shit forever.
Right.
So you know, it's a gift and a curse, bro. I've always said that consciousness is a double-edged sword. Because a lot of times you're just gonna be overthinking, you're gonna be thinking that you're crazy, like trying to make sense and making things deeper than what it is. Cause I'm gonna be real, like I don't even like hanging with a lot of like conscious, super woke niggas because it's like, bro, niggas like forget how to even have fun and just
Right.
like enjoy life. Like everything got to be a debate, everything got to be a conspiracy, and it's like, bro, sometimes, bro, I'm just trying to chill
I
and
just want to
just
have some
enjoy
dumb
life.
fun. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Come on,
You know
man.
what's funny? I'm glad you said that because I don't want listen. I love Phil. I love Bobby, and
Facts.
rest in peace, Delbert, and all. I don't want to be like them, bruh.
Facts.
That's nothing to aspire to. If you ask me, like
Yeah, I
your
feel
whole
you on that.
life, yeah, your whole life was dedicated to teaching, and then what did it get? Got you stressed out and stroking.
Yeah,
I'm good, man. Now, y'all can have this shit.
yeah, no, that's facts. That's facts, bro. Yeah, I definitely always said that, man. Like, you know, I feel like our elders, they like it's almost like they put so much energy and passion
Hmm.
like into their work, and then it's like a lot of people kind of like just take, and you know I think it's really fucked up how a lot of them present day like the things that they going through, um and it's like that's why I kind of always you know aspire like bro, if I'm gonna be talking about this shit, like I have to be able to you know present it in a way that to where like it doesn't just like become another just like another void. I feel like because I mean a lot of that information, bro, I mean it's super deep, But I mean, if you still got to wake up and pay bills and go to work the next day, it's almost kind of like, yeah, it's
What's the
cool to
point?
know,
What's
but
the point?
like, I mean, reality is still here, dog.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, and I always kind of had that realization to where it's like, I love, listening. I used to listen to the lectures all the time and shit, but it's like at a certain point, you just kind of just gotta know, like, bro. I mean, it's knowledge, and I mean, if we want to go really occult, I mean, it's really in your DNA, right?
Mhm.
So I mean, it's really activated in you, and I just don't want to, end up like that either, bro. Like, that's why, like, I was very careful with, like, my messaging and the way that I, presented certain information, because I didn't want to put myself in that box. That's why I always talked about other shit too. Like, I never was only talking about spiritual shit, because I knew it's like how the algorithm is. It's like they'll kind of like force you
Yeah,
into a certain lane.
yeah.
And it's like if you don't kind of expand within yourself, yeah, bro, you'll just be, doing this lecture circuit, this lecture circuit for the next 20 years. And it's like that's pretty much it. And
Yeah, I try and tell people are like, "Yo, Sly, won't you bring back that old stuff?" I'm like, I'm trying to get y'all to understand, like, you can't live in that 24/7. Like, at
fact.
least first allow me to grow as a person and discover different things, and let me share that with you guys. But you can't don't go back there. Like, you can go back and visit, but don't get caught up and stay. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? The whole Inception tenet shit. Like, you got
yeah.
it's a come out of it. Because you're gonna live in it. You're gonna get stuck in this shit, and that's gonna be it for you. Brother
That's real.
Macabre, I have had you on for an hour and a half. I don't want to take up more of your time. I know it's late over there. Please, please, please. Last words for the people. Where can they find you? Shout yourself out. All that good stuff.
Oh yeah, Merkaba 13 on all platforms. I got a YouTube channel. I don't really post a lot on YouTube. I'm more so like on Instagram. But yeah, I'm on all platforms. I got a lot of like things coming up. I'm actually really like my next like really real venture is really tech. Cause like I said, I'm really like a nerd, bro. So it's like I've been teaching myself how to code like over the
Okay.
past few years. Like when I was paralyzed, that's really what I was doing. I was like teaching myself how to code and like, because I really want to get into AI. Like
Okay.
that's really like my like 5 year, or not even 5 year, but that's like my big long-term goal. So yeah, I got some things that I'm cooking up with that. But yeah, overall, man, just live life. Don't get caught up in the political grifting. Whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen, bro. Don't let your energy get, siphoned by, these vampiric entities. Love yourself, love your family, love your life. And pretty much that's it, bro. Appreciate you for having me, bro. Like I said, I've been
Hey, no,
watching.
hey, shout out to Darius for hooking us up, because he was
Oh
like,
yeah,
"Yo,
hey, big
you
shout
know
out
such
to
and
him.
such. He know you, and I know you." And I'm like, "Okay, let's make it happen." So
Yeah, that's real. Yeah, because I definitely, it's like I be catching like your shows like every now and then.
yeah,
Yeah, I definitely remember when you was like more like on the occult type shit.
yeah, I was,
Um,
man, that Morris science. I was needing, man. I was waving that flag every motherfucking. You couldn't tell me shit, and I
yeah,
was like,
bro.
"I can't
Nah, I've
keep
been
doing this,
there. I know how
man."
it
So
is. I
I
mean, yeah, I
appreciate
mean,
you.
it's such, powerful information, especially when you first get into it, that,
Yeah,
you want to
yeah.
like, champion, that information. But yeah, I mean, even me, like, I went through a phase where it's like I was deeply, into these things, and it's like over time, you kind of just learn, like, man, I mean, at the end of the day, it was a moment in time. It was good for me to know, but
Mhm.
you got to keep moving forward. So
Final question before I let you go.
you good.
Has it officially been cool? Is it officially cool to be a black nerd now?
Um, I mean, I think it's a lot more cool than it was.
Okay.
I feel like now, like there is a space for it. So, I mean, it just all depends on like how confident you are in yourself, bro. Like, I mean, if you, are able to bring value to society, I mean, that's really all that matters, bro. Like whether you're like, playing video games, like whether you're like, teaching people about all of this different shit. I mean, the internet has really opened it up to where it's like you can be yourself now, bro. Like you don't have to try to be, like a thug or, just any of these different, stereotypes that, we've kind of been conditioned to see as like the prototypical masculine figure. Like, nah, bro, like you can be yourself. Um, and I think that's a good thing. And it's opened a lot of doors for people to just better their life in a lot of different ways. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say, I think it's still a little stigma on it, in a certain way. But yeah, bro, it's wide open right now, bro. I feel like if you have some type of dream or passion, I mean, this is the time to go for it.
Yeah.
Like this is the time to like put it out there, like, and just see, because it's probably other people that have similar interests. And you never know. Cause even like with me and my content, like, I mean, in the beginning, I didn't really have a roadmap. I was just talking about things that I was interested in, and so many people resonated with it that it kind of just showed me like, damn, like, like there is a lane for whatever, you want to do. And so yeah, it's definitely, in all of my life, this is the most love that I've seen nerds get. Definitely.
Good, good, good. With that being said, I want to thank my guest, Merkaba 13. Thank you, bro, for the wise words and the lessons for today.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Anytime, bro.
Anytime,
Hit me up.
anytime.
For sure, man. Be safe, bro.
All right, bro. You too. Have a good night.
You too, bro.
Yes, sir. All right. Shout out to Merkaba 13. That was fun. Shout out to Darius. We can thank Darius, Mike Check Global, for all this, because he's the linchpin for all this. 6 degrees, people. 6 degrees. So with that being said, let me get up out of here. Oh wait, check this. Wait. Okay, wait. Okay. All right. Y'all have a good night. Peace.